What is the world's top 10 weakest currencies? Well, if you have been asking yourself such question, or you want to know more about currencies, then you are at the right place. Here are today's 10 weakest international currencies, based on the amount of US dollar that will buy 1 unit of each currency. We start with the currency with the lowest value relative to the dollar. The exchange rates are sourced from our currency converter, based on data from Open Exchange, and are accurate as of July 2023. So let's dive in together. On number 1 we have Iranian rial, a currency of Iran. The Iranian rial is the weakest currency in the world, with a converting rate of $1 equals 42,300 Iranian rials. Iran's currency has been squeezed by economic sanctions, including those the US reimposed in 2018 and others the European Union has repeatedly imposed. Political unrest and an annual inflation rate that has been topping 40% are additional factors contributing to currency and economic weakness in Iran. Risks to Iran's economic outlook remain significant, the World Bank concludes. On number 2 we have Vietnamese dong, a currency of Vietnam. The Vietnamese dong is the second weakest currency in the world, with a converting rate of $1 equals 23,485 Vietnamese dong. Vietnam's recent slowdown in export activity, its currency has been undermined by a bad real estate market, restrictions on foreign investment. Despite any shortcomings, the World Bank says Vietnam has been transforming from one of the poorest in the world into a lower middle income country. Vietnam now is one of the most dynamic emerging countries in East Asia region. Moving on, number 3, Laotian kip, a currency of Laos. The Laotian or Lao kip is 3 among the world's weakest currencies, with converting rate of $1 equals 17,692 Lao kip. Just west of Vietnam, Laos and its kip have been hit by sluggish economic growth and crushing foreign debt obligations. Inflation, including higher prices for oil and other global commodities, has been worsened by declines in the kip and, in turn, is helping push the currency even lower. Recent efforts by the government to bring inflation, debt, and the country's plummeting currency under control have been poorly considered and counterproductive, notes the Council on Foreign Relations. Number 4, Sierra Leone, a currency of Sierra Leone. The Sierra Leone is the 4th weakest currency in the world, with $1 equals 17,665 Sierra Leone leones. High inflation, exceeding 43% in April 2023, plus economic weakness and hefty debt obligations are factors that have dragged down the currency of this West African nation. Observers say other problems affecting the country's currency include lingering effects of a 2010 second Ebola outbreak and an earlier civil war, political uncertainty, and widespread public corruption. Sierra Leone's economic development has been constrained by concurrent global and domestic shocks, says the World Bank. Well, before we jump into the next point, please like and hit the subscribe button, and I will be very grateful for that. Heading on number 5 we have Lebanese pound, currency of Lebanon. The Lebanese pound is 5th among the weakest currencies in the world, with $1 equals 15,012 Lebanese pounds. In March 2023, the Lebanese pound sank to a record low against the US dollar. The currency has been turning in a woeful performance against a backdrop of a deeply depressed economy, historically high unemployment, an ongoing banking crisis, political chaos, and eye-popping inflation. Prices soared an estimated 171% in 2022. Lebanon is at a dangerous crossroads, and without rapid reforms will be mired in a never-ending crisis, the International Monetary Fund noted in March 2023. On number 6 we have Indonesian rupiah, currency of Indonesia. The Indonesian rupiah ranks number 6 on this list of the world's weakest currencies, with $1 equals 14,985 Indonesian rupiah. The dismal ranking of the rupiah shows that bigger isn't always better. Indonesia's status as the world's 4th most populous country can't safeguard it against a beaten-up currency. Although the rupiah has demonstrated some strength in 2023 compared with its Asian counterparts, depreciation rocked the currency in previous years. In March 2023, the International Monetary Fund cautioned that a global economic contraction could put renewed pressure on the rupiah. 7. Uzbekistani Som, a currency of Uzbekistan. The Uzbekistani Som is the 7th weakest currency in the world, with $1 equals 11,420 Uzbekistani Som. Since 2017, the Central Asian nation of Uzbekistan, a former republic of the Soviet Union, has been rolling out economic reforms. Still, the Som remains a weak currency held back by slowing economic growth, steep inflation, high unemployment, extensive corruption, and chronic poverty. While the economy has demonstrated resilience to the spillovers from the war in Ukraine and sanctions against Russia, significant uncertainty exists with regard to the evolution of these risks, the Fitch Ratings agency said in March 2023. And on number 8, Guinean franc, a currency of Guinea. The Guinean franc is 8th among the weakest currencies in the world, with $1 equals 8,650 Guinean francs. Despite an abundance of natural resources like gold and diamonds, Guinea, a nation in sub-Saharan Africa and a former French colony, has been plagued by high inflation that's depressing the Guinean franc. Unrest against the country's military rulers and a refugee influx from neighboring Liberia and Sierra Leone are contributing to Guinea's deflated economy and currency. Political instability and a slowing global growth outlook will keep Guinea's economic activity below potential in 2023, says the Economist Intelligence Unit. 9. Paraguayan guarani, a currency of Paraguay. The Paraguayan guarani is the world's 9th weakest currency, with $1 equals 7,241 Paraguayan guaranis. A single dam produces an overwhelming majority of the electricity used by Paraguay, but the country's leadership in hydroelectric power hasn't led to economic power. High inflation, approaching 10% in 2022, as well as drug smuggling and money laundering have diluted the currency and broader economy of Paraguay, a landlocked country in South America. The medium-term economic outlook remains favorable, but there are risks from a worsening global outlook and extreme weather events, the International Monetary Fund explained in April 2023. And finally, Ugandan shilling. The Ugandan shilling ranks number 10 among the weakest currencies in the world, with $1 equals 3,741 Ugandan shilling. Despite being an oil, gold, and coffee-rich country, Uganda and its currency have been hobbled by a record of unstable economic growth, sizable debt, and political unrest. A flood of refugees from nearby Sudan has added to the strain. Uganda faces numerous challenges that could affect future stability, including explosive population growth, power and infrastructure constraints, corruption, underdeveloped democratic institutions, and human rights deficits, says the CIA.